Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We're going to go over the dollar, 10-year yield, gold, silver, platinum, some ETFs, some individual companies, get you kind of a big picture view of everything. And what I'm just gathering by looking at the charts real quick is that we're kind of almost entering more of a risk-off, lower volatile, I'll call it, where people are flowing money more into bonds than actual some of these risk kind of higher volatile assets. That's just kind of what I'm seeing right now. And I think gold and silver and some of these precious metals are kind of grouped into that. We had, and we'll jump into the charts here. Again, guys, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice, but here we go. We'll jump into it. I'll show you what I'm seeing. This is the US dollar index, the DXY. We had a dollar drop today. It's a pretty good drop, 0.36%. We also had the 10-year yield drop. And the 10-year yield was putting in a bearish engulfing pattern where this yield could potentially drop. There could be some sort of risk out there that people are perceiving. I mean, and remember, this bearish engulfing pattern is not 100%. I mean, there's one here that's kind of a bearish engulfing pattern. You find them every once in a while, but that's what this pattern is right here. We could see a little bit lower rates, but it just seems like people are seeking kind of the risk off play more than the risk on at this moment. It doesn't mean that it can't turn around very quickly. But overall, gold did well today. We got the reversal pattern yesterday of that hammer pattern, and the hammer pattern, the momentum blew through its resistance line here at about 1780, and it blew right through it to about $1,800. So the momentum's up, and it's looking quite good. Let's hope the momentum can continue. Silver did very well today, breaking through its kind of resistance line here. So that's doing well. And platinum did very well at $20 up, breaking through its resistance support line. So it dipped below the support and it came right back up. It still has some work to do. Hopefully the momentum can continue, but it's looking quite well. Just on a big picture view, we're kind of doing like almost this double bottom perhaps, and maybe we'll see higher prices in the future. Karora Resources and a lot of these companies did very well today, up 6.11%. We came down, kind of went sideways a little bit, and then we're popping higher, and it finished quite strong today. Some volume, it's not huge volume. It's kind of average volume. EXK, again, more of like average volume here. It is breaking through this downtrend. Hopefully the momentum can continue. It's a decent day today. SILJ is doing the same thing, breaking through its downtrend here, popping higher. GDX, again, it's bouncing off its support line in this pattern here with the big old hammer pattern on a weekly candlestick basis. The daily is just a big update today. Metallic Minerals, which is a small silver exploration company. Again, we popped up, came back, and we're popping up again. So that one looks good. Koya Resources is still in a downtrend. I don't know if I'd touched it right here. Discovery Silver still has the legs underneath it. It's still moving on up, 7% up day today and finished quite strong. Again, let's hope the momentum can continue. Here's First Majestic Silver. We popped out of this pattern, almost came to a full retest, or even like almost all the way back. We went a little bit lower than that. We're popped up a little bit. Let's see if we can keep this momentum going. It's quite strong. Here's Newmont Corporation bouncing sideways. Big old update today, 8.8%. We're back at this resistance area. We got to break and close above that next. At least that's what we have our sights on next. And this is what it looks like on our support line that we're at. Yamana Gold, again, we're still in this pattern. Zooming in on it, we got a nice big update today, 5.26%. We can break out of this pattern to the upside, hopefully. We'll be looking pretty good. Impact Silver was up 1.97%. This is probably a black candlestick where it opened up and closed lower. The momentum's kind of coming back down. AAGFF, Aftermath Silver. Again, we're trying to get back up into this pattern. Is this just a retest and we roll back over, or are we going to come back and close back into this pattern? Difficult to say. Sandstorm Gold looking strong. Nice big 7% up day, finishing strong. Good momentum to the upside. We are kind of playing with its support line underneath it from a big long-term candlestick basis. We are creating a monthly big old hammer pattern on the big long-term scale. Looking at Franco-Nevada, we're still in this big pattern there. You can zoom in on it. We're coming down. We do have some strong selling pressure, and the buying pressure is a little bit less. So we could still, we'll call it grind it out sideways, is my guess. EMX, looking at EMX royalty, we're still below this support line, and hopefully we can bounce back up above the downtrend line and the support line. So that's got some work cut out ahead of it for EMX. Tune Resources, another small update today. Zooming in on it, we're still inside this pattern, just hanging on. Wheaton Precious Metals, nice good update. We're still in this pattern as well. We're just kind of chilling in this pattern. It could pull back to the bottom here and rocket higher, or sometimes they just rocket higher at the end of this. Sometimes they just go straight out of it. It all depends. Gold Royalty Corporation, again, we're just basically grinding sideways. We have good support right where it's at. And right underneath it, 449, there's a lot of support as well all through here. MTA, again, we're still breaking to the downside of this pattern here. We'll see if we kind of come back, and if we roll back over. We may have a spot where we roll back over. I mean, it's possible. And I'm not saying just this company. It could be in all of them. Because we are below their patterns. And same with Mavericks Metals. Let me zoom in here a little bit different. We had this kind of squeezing up a little bit, broke to the downside, retest. We almost came all the way back to the bottom of this. I don't know if we're going to test this bottom of our projected move of this guy, but I mean, we'll see. This is a big old hammer pattern on a weekly candlestick basis. It's a very strong day today with a strong closing, momentum to the upside. So all I'm going to say is let's hope this momentum can continue. Here's Royal Gold. We're up in the tip of this thing, squeezing on up for Royal Gold. And then a Cisco Gold Royalty, we're hanging on to the bottom of this kind of trend line here. I'd almost say that we could draw it more like this. And let me see if I can draw. Probably more like that is probably a better drawing of it. And we're at the bottom of this support line for a Cisco Gold Royalties. So that's what I have for today. I was just looking across the board, and I'm getting these thoughts like, man, it seems like people are still selling some of their riskier assets or commodity assets and going into bonds. And I don't know why someone would do that, but that's the response. I'm not the one moving this money. And I do think that, we have a lot of momentum in gold and silver. I'm kind of looking at some of the other markets too, and the energy markets and stuff, because they were down. But hopefully the momentum can continue. I'm not doing anything different. I'm going to hold on to these companies. I'm not really doing anything at the moment, so I'm just kind of watching them, seeing what they're doing. But yeah, it's good to have an update. High five, boom. It's good to have these every once in a while and get away from this negative sentiment that everyone's got so much on this sector. So is this a bottom? It's tough to say, guys. And that's why I cost average in. That's why I hold on to my shares and I don't really do much. Because sometimes in the short term, sometimes they can get difficult to read. But I like it. I think it looks, it's improving. That's all I'm going to say. I'd like to see it continue with buying pressure or small down days and change it into a buyer's market. I'm still skeptical. We see a lot. I mean, just by looking at a Cisco Gold Royalty here, if you look at the right-hand side, these are pretty strong downward selling pressure days. And these are smaller up days. So, I mean, this could kind of bounce or come and roll back over very easily. And if you just kind of look at some of these, we do have these big kind of selling off pressure days still. And that's what I don't like seeing, these big sell-off pressure days. Although this is by weeks, this is sell-off weeks. This is a up week with a hammer pattern where we could reverse this. But I want to see buying pressure and small selling pressure. And I want to see that consistently happen in all these stocks. We need to see it change. I do still think that there's some sellers out there, and we may be doing some grinding sideways for a little bit, maybe for the rest of December even, before we start seeing some renewed interest in these sectors. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.